Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to join you today. I want to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and the contributions of First Nations women to culture, caring, and stewardship of knowledge and community in Australia and in societies around the world. The athletes of the Women's World Cup, and more specifically, the Matildas and the U.S. national women's team before them, have captivated a global audience with their grace and skill, their toughness and teamwork. So this is the perfect moment to explore some of the difficult issues facing women in sport on and off the field. I know that the conversations you have here will be eye-opening, and I hope you will leave with a commitment to make change happen. I've seen firsthand the power of one woman's determination to use sports to bring justice and inclusion to the marginalized. My aunt, Eunice Shriver, founded Special Olympics in her backyard in Chicago in 1968 to give people with intellectual disabilities the chance to play, to be healthy, and to win when no one believed they could. I grew up cheering for Special Olympics athletes as they persevered when they were struggling, surpassed their own goals, and brought joy to everyone around them. Today, over 3 million athletes in 170 countries participate in Special Olympics, along with hundreds of thousands of volunteers, coaches, and health professionals. And there are now thousands of schools with unified teams of students with intellectual disabilities and autism, and students without disabilities playing together on the same team, promoting inclusion, understanding, and social and emotional learning. Last year marked the 50th anniversary of Title IX, the landmark law that prohibited discrimination on the basis of sex in any educational institution that receives federal funding in the United States. Since its passage, Title IX has revolutionized women's participation in athletics and sports programs nationwide. However, Title IX is much broader than sports, and more recently it's been applied to cases of sexual assault and sexual violence on college campuses, showing the power of sports to lead the way in raising social awareness and bringing social change. The courage of both the U.S. women's soccer team and the Matildas in using their voices to fight successfully for equal treatment and equal pay has inspired the world and reduced some of the entrenched inequities women face on and off the field. We're thrilled that U.S. soccer legend Brandi Chastain is our guest here at the summit. She's a fierce advocate for equal pay, better training conditions, and a fair distribution of prize money at major tournaments like the World Cup. During my time in Australia, I've also been inspired by people like Miranda Minaspa. Miranda leads a team at the Australian Institute of Sports in Canberra that is researching the effect of menstrual cycles on women athletes and the need for women's athletic equipment to be designed by women, for their bodies. Miranda, like many of you at this summit, is helping women maximize performance and reduce injuries. I hope these examples will encourage all the participants to identify the continuing barriers that women and trans athletes are facing today and strengthen your resolve and your skills so that you can join the fight for justice and inclusion. I'd like to close with a quote from a remarkable American woman, Mary Church Terrell. Her parents were enslaved, yet she became one of the first African-American women to receive a college degree, in classics no less. She taught school, raised a family, and spent her life fighting for the right of African-Americans and women to vote. She was a pioneer in the 19th century who broke every barrier in her day, yet she realized that none of us can do it alone. In her most famous essay, she wrote, "And so, lifting as we climb, onward and upward we go, struggling and striving, with courage born of success achieved in the past, with a keen sense of responsibility, we look forward to a future large with promise and hope." I look forward to hearing about what you do next and wish you an inspiring conference.